Get to the SSNIT issue. I've seen a number of the TUC with their numbers. They have poo-pooed the move. I've heard pensioners talk about it. Recently, I think it was the Director General, Osafo Mafu, who came and said, I think that they've stalled negotiations and they are conducting further investigations into the matter. Some have called you anti-Ghanaian for this drive, that you don't want another Ghanaian to, you know, in fact, you've been dragged to court. The Blaze have taken you to court. Are you quaking in your boots? And you've also countersued a few people. What exactly is happening? What's the latest on that?
Let me be clear. What we are pursuing, and when I say we, have been really touched by the tremendous support from the Ghanaian people. You saw the thousands who poured out on the streets, who acceded to my humble request that we need to rise up and stop the state capture. We've never seen anything like this. The marauding state capture unfolding before our very eyes. No regards to due process, no regards to the protection of public property, cannot continue. And all our partners, the TUC, the Federation of Labour, you've seen Coalition of Youth Groups, the Gadangbe Council, the La Traditional Council, the Lakba Wulomo, and all of those. I am eternally grateful to all of them, the NDC, the other opposition parties, the minority caucus, our leadership, who have offered tremendous support. This has become an overwhelming, massive, national quest to stop state capture. Now, as for the name calling, it will continue. It is Mr. Domlevo who famously said that when you step out to fight corruption, corruption will fight back. People will come after you. People will call you all kinds of names. We are not saying that Ghanaians should not do business. Ghanaians should not invest their monies in Ghana. I mean, when did this become about stopping Ghanaians from doing business? It's not about that. I mean, there's so many other Ghanaians who participated in this process. We are saying fundamentally that the justification, the policy justification, policy imperatives, the business case for the sale of these SSNIT hotels have not been made out. What is the reason why a very profitable hotel like the Labadi Beach Hotel, and I have all the financial statements.
I mean, these are things you've mentioned.
By Deloitte.
50 plus million they have in liquidity at the bank, how much they've been turning over.
Very profitable. Why will you be selling 60% shares in such a profitable venture that pays dividends every year? Last year, 25 million, the year before, 10 million. And we are talking about assets built by workers' contributions and assets that will take care of workers when they retire. It's about pensions. And we are saying that if you look at the policy options available in the toolkit, a sale should be the last option. What happened to a change in management? Because we have seen from the history of Labadi that when they were not doing well, they were struggling, and there was a management change. We brought in legacy. It revamped the fortunes, transformed the fortunes. So when you adopt a leadership change at the top in terms of managing these hotels, the case study of Labadi shows that it works. There are many other options, including floating shares and all of that. Why do we have to see this outright sale? Then we are also saying that if you look at the preferred bidder, he is a politically exposed person. I am not aware of any country any rule of law destination where a cabinet minister is allowed to purchase a state asset. Particularly,
but we have had in the past some members of the NDC owning some shares in some of these state properties, being allowed to do that, right?
Politically exposed persons since 1966, you know, have been...
So fundamentally, you agree that is wrong?
It's wrong.
Which is why you are pushing for that bill to prevent politically exposed people from owning it.
If you clearly assess my political trajectory, my first major case at the Supreme Court had to do with this matter. Jacob Echebilamte buying his bungalow, he stayed in, you know. So I have consistently, 16 years ago, I've consistently said that politically exposed persons should stay away from state assets.
Yeah, but do you think you as members of parliament and even the political class, you are committed to it? I mean, it's open there for you to go. Even parks and gardens properties are going. Roman Ridge properties, airport, cantonments. You, the political class, you are practically robbing the country blind. Will it be... I mean, it's practically gone, everything.
I partially agree with you that there's some robbery. Where I disagree with you is the generalization. There are some of us. There are some of us. I'm not alone in this. There are a growing number of politically exposed persons, members of parliament, who have approached me that, look, we want to join you, this private members bill. We will join you to have it passed. And I want to salute the lawyers led by Professor Kweku Azan, who've done tremendous work. We are calling it the Protection of State Assets Act. And very soon we will share the draft with the general public. Look, you are right that as we speak, even today, I have 2 ministers who I have filed urgent questions to come and tell the House, the Ghanaian people, what they are doing to protect state assets. Parks and Gardens lands. They went to work one day, and some people showed up that they are from Danny Ike Real Estate Company Limited, that they are the new owners. So the local government minister has been summoned today to respond to my urgent question, what he's doing to protect Parks and Gardens lands, not only in Accra, in the Western region, in the Volta region, in the Upper West region, where the regional minister, intercepted documents I put out, revealed that he is helpless in keeping out some private developers who have showed up that they are building fuel stations on Parks and Gardens lands. Then, only a few days ago...
And that will be the final point on that, so we can move on.
Yeah, only a few days ago, you have an unprecedented move where judges said they have had enough. So the judicial service has gone to court about their bungalows, 13 bungalows, and I have those court documents here. I'll quickly run through them. Number 7 Fifth Circular Road, Cantonments, last occupied by Justice F.G. Korbie.
You just have to go a bit.
Number 18 Fifth Circular Road, Cantonments, last occupied by Justice Anthony Abada. Number 21 Fifth Circular Road, Cantonments, last occupied by Justice K. Oforiatta. You know, 13 of them. Robin Batus, Justice Yaapao, Justice...
Which areas? So cantonments?
Cantonments opposite the American Embassy. You know, and already these judges have suffered so much. Appeal court judges, bungalows demolished to build National Cathedral. The few they have left, you know, they've demolished them, taking them away from them. You know, Justice Akamba, Justice P.K., Jaisayo, Dr. Naomi Apia, who was at the Judicial Service Clinic, all demolished. Justice C.J. Honyanuga's house has been sold. Justice Vida Akoto Bamfo, Justice Lorinda Owusu. And you wonder what's happening in this country. You know, and if you have seen the latest SEM Capital memo, the Transaction Advisors memo to the
Final
board, it confirms everything we have been saying about.
What does it confirm?
The conflict of interest, the fact that the process was skewed to favor the Honorable Brian Champon, the Minister for Agric. This memo...
What makes for interesting reading?
Dated 24th.
Freddie Blay even making mention of the fact that his son put in a bid.
Yes.
And that was a lot more.
A lot more. About 150 to $200 million. Now, this is the transaction advisor on the 24th of May. And the board chair who wrote that article on June 26, the Honorable Elizabeth Ohini, has a lot of questions to answer because this was addressed to her, raising fundamental objections to what SSNIT was doing. Right. And yet she came out to say that even angels will vote for the project. You know, the levels of dishonesty and blasphemy is most shocking. This is the transaction advisor saying that the SSNIT-Rock City Unholy Alliance, the proposer offers an installment plan with no confirmation of availability of funds. Payment is based on the cash flows of Rock City Hotel with no credit enhancement from any bank. There is no indication of ability to pay. The arrangements for the transfer of the shares do not satisfy the objectives of SSNIT. Transfer of the management and ownership will take 2 years. The 2-year installment plan was not made available to all bidders.
Okay.
Can you believe that? It continues that the latest proposal does not meet SSNIT's objectives, which were clearly stated in the terms of reference for this transaction. The transaction is stretched out over a 2-year period of uncertainty, during which the implementation of the SSNIT's strategic objectives will essentially be on hold. Other investors who submitted bids did not have an option of spreading the payment of shares over a 2-year period.
All right.
A 2-year transition will make the transaction a target of public scrutiny. The proposal does not include the source of funding for the balance of the acquisition price.
Okay, so your point has been made.
And if you read very quickly, if you read SSNIT's own published procurement notice, a copy of which I have here, SSNIT put out the pre-qualification criteria.
Which are?
Which are 1, legal status of the firm, 2, profile of firm, including key financials for the last 3 years. We now know that Rock City's financials, they were not even filing their taxes. Relevant credentials of hotel industry, valid SSNIT and GRA clearance certificate for firms registered in Ghana. We now also know, based on my intercepted documents from the GRA, that they couldn't have had a valid tax clearance certificate. The pre-qualification criteria also said that the preferred hotel or hotels in which the firm wants to participate. Then, this is key, sources and proof of funding. The transaction advisor is telling SSNIT that you have selected a preferred bidder who does not provide the source of funding.
All right.
Does not provide a bank guarantee.
Right.
I mean, what is going on here?
We'll come to...
So this is a work and pay arrangement. Clearly what it is.
Okay. All right. Just hold for me. Let me just take a few messages and then I'll come back to you. Some of you are complaining about my seemingly interrupting Okudzeto Ablakwa. I don't know whether you sitting there know how much time I have for the interview. Some of you sometimes sit on the other end and think you can do what I'm doing or run it better. You can come and try. But I have a limited time within which to have the conversation, so I must ensure that you get everything you want to hear. And that's why I am doing that. But let me come back into the studio. Yes. 2 quick questions as you have the document.
Let me thank the producer
you were looking for
going into my car.
Right. No, you can read it out. You can go ahead and read it.
It has here Public Procurement Authority.
Right. And this, by the way, has to do with the previous bit we were looking at, the National Cathedral. And the public procurement not giving its approval. So quickly on that.
Yes. So because your producer said we will be focusing on SSNIT, that's why I didn't bring National Cathedral documents. So you have here 5th July 2022. This is signed by Frank Mante, the Chief Executive of the Public Procurement Authority. Application to access information on procurement approval relating to the construction of the National Cathedral by Ribade Company Limited. Reference is made to your letter dated 4th July 2022 on the subject above. Please be informed that the Public Procurement Authority holds no information relating to the construction of the National Cathedral by Ribade Company Limited. You may wish to refer your inquiry to the National Cathedral Secretariat. And this was sent to me, the Honorable Okudzeto Ablakwa, MP North Tong, Parliament House, Accra, Ghana. And you can have a look at it. Can you believe this? So when I asked the minister yesterday in Parliament that before you were making the releases, the unconstitutional releases of our public funds, did you check that the project has gone through the procurement processes in compliance with our Public Procurement Act? She says she has to go back to the office to check. But it's fundamental. It's basic. Before releasing funds, you have to check. Now, our 339 million Ghana cedis is gone. No recourse to the procurement laws.
All right, so this has been clarified. I think, Mutala, you were posing the question. That is the document. You can also at least attest to it for now. But 2 quick questions on SSNIT, and I wanted to be very brief because I have limited time, which is why I've been doing what I've been doing. 1, are you saying that having been in government before, you haven't purchased anything that is owned by the state? Fair question. Just to you. Give me a straightforward answer.
Never.
Don't beat about the bush.
Never.
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 Never participated.
And you never will?
I never will.
Okay.
I've received offers.
Do you stand by the statement that Rock City was making losses? Do you stand by that? Because you've been taken to court on that. Do you stand by it?
I stand by it. I have the court case is with the Blaze about the Labadi beachfront.
Okay, so yes, I made mention of that, but he's threatened, taking you on that. Do you stand by that statement?
I have here. There's his own filings at the GRA. He dared me. Remember, he said I didn't have any document from GRA. These are the GRA documents here. I'll leave a copy with you.
Is it legal for you to have that, though?
A member of parliament in the public interest can access any information. Once, and there are a plethora of cases. Once it's in the public interest. Once it's in the public interest.
All right, let's quickly look at a few more issues. I'm going to lump them together so we can do this very quickly. Sure. I want us to look at LI 240, the cement bit in there, but I also want us to look at the free SHS bill. Quick thoughts. Your side in Parliament has now accepted, and the bill was late. They say it's no longer regulation. It's what? I've forgotten the word. But yesterday, I had here Mutala Mohammed, the Tamale Central legislator, who vehemently disagrees with your end in Parliament. Are you in agreement with Mutala, or are you in agreement with your caucus in Parliament?
If I can wrap up on the SSNIT Hotel Case for a second.
20 seconds.
I want to state emphatically that based on the latest documentation we have received, confirming even beyond our wildest imagination, what we have always known and believed. The President Akufo-Addo Bawumia government should not be talking about a suspension of this deal. We want to hear a cancellation. And I feel strongly about this.
Okay.
We are going to continue to cooperate with Shraj's investigation, and our agitation would not stop until we hear that the government has outrightly cancelled. I mean, when you read this transaction...
So are you promising further demonstrations?
Further actions, yes.
All right, thank you.
Further action.
You've called in the past for what happened in Kenya to happen here. I don't know whether that is something you still stick by. That could lead to... You saw what happened in Kenya, right? Dousing the parliamentary building with fire and everything. Is that what you're calling for?
I am saying...
Is that what you're calling for?
That if the violence of the political class on state assets, violence on impoverishing the people, there is very little the people can take any longer.
And that's the answer?
And it becomes inevitable if the political class, and I'm glad that yesterday, the Honorable Afenyo Makin read a statement in Parliament cautioning the entire political class.
Indeed.
And now you've seen the Kenyan MPs apologize. Some of them they are wearing T-shirts, I'm sorry. So when you meet them, you can know that they are very apologetic, and so you spare them.
Right.
Those of us who consistently are sounding the alarm bells should not be seen as the troublemakers.
Right.
I mean, it's shocking that people like to portray some of us who are saying, look, stop the looting, stop the great loot and share, stop the state capture. Some state assets, if not all, should be sacred. Why? Even the colonialists left us parks and gardens as a green belt for our horticultural needs.
And Nkrumah built on that.
Yeah, since 1952.
Okay.
And you are
so point made.